Hello, good evening, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the 40k show, where we spend an hour and a half putting the worlds to right in the realms of Warhammer 40k. I say in the realms of Warhammer 40k, this might actually change slightly soon, and it's not actually going to change. We're not going to stop doing the same amount of 40k content that we're already doing, but I have today been building some Age of Sigmar models. We might dabble in that a little bit in the future as well as additional content. I want to make sure I make that very, very clear. If you like the idea of seeing Age of Sigmar content on the channel, do the magical things for us. Hit that like button if you enjoy the content. Smash that subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified every single time we go live or drop a new video. The other way to be notified every single time we go live or drop a video is by being a member in the Great Hall Discord server. And if you're a member, you will get notifications every time a video gets dropped or every time we go live by being in Discord, and it tags you if you want the notification. You can select not to have that notification. If you're already a member, thank you so much. You people are incredible. Absolutely incredible. In fact, memberships account for 80% of channel revenue, and somewhere in the region of 70% of those memberships are in fact gifted as well, which is incredible. So if you are a person who gives, if you are a regular gifter, thank you so much. You guys are incredible. You guys are heroes. And tonight, because of the topic, I'm going to encourage you to put in loads of big, colourful postcards. Now, talking about memberships, we do have a target at the moment of over 100 new members every stream. So if you're feeling generous, go for it. Give some memberships. Give other people an opportunity to come and hang out in the Great Hall. There's another reason for this as well, actually. I've got a kind of different pledge going on at the moment. A different pledge, a different plea going on at the moment, right? I don't want to be too plea. I don't want to be too beggy about this. But there's something else going on right now, chat. Okay? Yesterday, well, strictly Monday, we put an offer in on a studio. Today, that offer got turned down. The landlord had a different offer from another business, which was for slightly more money because they could afford slightly more money. And he also said that unfortunately that particular client's accounts were more solid over the course of the last 3 years than ours. Ours aren't bad, to be clear. We're doing okay. But theirs is more solid. So the more you gift, this is genuine now, the more you gift, the more you super chat, the more chance we've got of getting in the studio. My goal at the moment is to get into our very own studio by the end of the year. So I've already found another place. I'm already talking to the estate agent about that other place, hoping that at some point in the next 2 days I can view it if all of the boxes that we need get ticked, i.e. air conditioning, fast internet for upload, all that kind of stuff. And if that's the case, hopefully in the next week we'll have an offer in on our next place. I'm just trying not to overspend. I'm very conscious about overspending, right? But imagine how cool it is if we get ourselves in our own big professional studio. Joe and I are going to look to do a podcast for the channel every single week, pre-recorded podcast, as well as lots of other content we've got planned as well, including adding in things like AOS, etc. Right? Okay. The first place was beautiful. I loved it. I really wanted it. It was very, very nice. And actually, the bonus to it was that it needed zero work whatsoever. We just put a table in there and some cameras, and we would have been good to go. This second place will probably need a little bit of work, which is another cost burden, but it's fine, chat. It's fine. Just keeping you updated with where the channel's going. We're hoping to get into a studio at some point in the near future. One Master Will says, what's happening? Super secret project. They're still going ahead. It's just we've had to move venues because yet again, the first property has basically let us down. I'll let you into a secret. The first property got to a point where it was looking like we would need to put something in the region of £400,000 in to try and get it up to scratch. Not going to happen. Never going to happen. I'm not going to see that much money in my life. So we've had to find a different venue for that as well, which means that Super Secret Project probably won't be big enough to house a studio. So the channel is going to have to support the studio all by itself. That's down to you people with memberships, gifted memberships, super chat. So big shout out Mr. Sven Holio for gifting 5, you fucking legend. Soups for gifting 5 as well. And Grain Train GT, thank you for gifting 5. 15 already. I need to do my thing, don't I? 15 already of the target 100 for tonight. Thank you so much. I also worked it out. And we have no less than, I think, 19 streams in the month of August. So I actually set the August members total target at less than 100 to 100 per night because I was feeling generous, right? Shopper said it was off the cards. No, but I think the location Ghastly is better. I think it's better. Cool. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. What we're going to talk about? Well, I think it's no secret right now, if you've been watching the channel, I think it's no secret at all that many of us on the channel are not the biggest fans of 10th edition right now, okay? Now, it's very easy to sit here and criticise all the things we don't like about 10th edition and why we think it's currently a pile of hot garbage. I have been waiting with bated breath for many years to start some Age of Sigmar projects because I like the fantasy type setting, and up until recently I've had no one who's wanted to do that kind of stuff with me, and now Joe has dived in deep with his vampires because he's just kind of turned off 40k. I will stress this, and I can't stress this enough. We will not be reducing the amount of 40k content we put on this channel. I cannot stress this enough. The 2 games and the 2 streams a week will not stop for 40k. Okay? Do not panic. If you're a 40k fan and you do not care about Age of Sigmar, you are not going to get any less content. But we are looking at learning Age of Sigmar in the future and adding this as additional content to the channel. Now, one of the reasons why I think this particular project has had a bit of a kick up the arse of late is simply because 10th's a bit shit right now. It's a bit shit, isn't it? If we're honest, there's going to be a bunch of managers at Games Workshop patting themselves on the back. If you look at their share price, that confirms the fact that there will be a bunch of managers at Games Workshop patting themselves on the back, and they shouldn't be, because it's a fucking hot mess. It's an absolute dumpster fire, and it is all over the place. It's all over the place. It's a mess. As a channel, we are working incredibly hard, apart from Eddie, to try and make sure we bring you guys entertainment over 4 to 5 turns, a relatively balanced game. Even that is difficult. In 9th edition, there was a little bit of self-regulation to try and make sure the game was entertaining for the audience, but otherwise we basically just played the game. In 10th edition, the guys are having to work incredibly hard at the tabletop to not make it a one-sided murder fest. And if that's the case, if you have to work that hard at the tabletop to not make it a one-sided murder fest, that means the game's a hot mess. Now, like I said, we could focus on all the negatives. We could focus on how Towering's still incredibly broken, how Indirect is ridiculous, how certain armies are incredibly overpowered and some are so weak, why would you ever take them? We could focus on the point system and how that's a complete mess right now. We could focus on how some universal special rules are universal special rules and some aren't and still occur on data sheets. We could focus on the fact that every unit probably shouldn't have its own special rules. We could focus on all those things, okay? All the negatives. But I want to try and turn this into a bit more of a constructive stream. And so this is a question out to you people, right? The title is not for me. The title is for you, okay? Ask yourself this question, chat. Think about it for a second. Stick it on a big, colourful postcard like Starius.
Here I come to wreck the day.
Miss you, David. Hope you're okay. So, thank you so much for the 30, man. You're a legend. Kicking us off with the super chat. Don't forget, 10% of our super chat revenue, 10% is donated to a charity. Our charity of choice is Models for Heroes. Tons of work done in the modelling community for mental health. That's right. We don't just talk about it on the channel. We actually do lots of donating as well. So thank you so much for that. 10% of that will be donated. And Starius, thank you for jumping in with 10 gifted as well. I will update my tracker right now. You legend, Starius. I love you. I haven't seen you for ages. I hope you're doing well, man. Good. Boom. Right. So I want you to ask yourself, right? I want you to ask yourself this and then think about putting on a colourful postcard. If you want your colourful postcard to be read out by Amy the bot, $10 or more, $10 or more, because some people are getting caught out with their Canadian money, $10 or more, and she will read it out. Less than that, don't worry. I promise you I will still read your super chat. I will get to every super chat. At the moment, we are not at a capacity where that's not a possibility. So I promise you I'll still read it out. Don't worry about that. But I want you to ask yourself, if I was in charge of 40k, what would you do? Now, this could be a complete rule set change. It could be tweaks to the current edition. It could be what you would have done from 9th to 10th. It could be anything like that. I'm just interested, genuinely interested. We've got 200 people in chat right now. I want to know, out of you 200 people, what would you people do? So I sat here and I thought to myself, what would I do if I was in charge of Warhammer 40k? What would I do? And I'm not entirely sure that all of my answers kind of are interlinked, okay? So the first thing I'd like to do, this is based on making assumptions. The first thing I'd like to do is change the way in which the rules writing team seems to operate. And I understand that I'm going off of a theory. I'm going off how I think it currently works, not necessarily how it definitely works. But I currently think that how it works is you have different individuals writing different codexes, indexes, whatever it might be. Okay? That's how I think it works. And I think it's bad. So I would shake up the team. And I would want there to be uniformity across all books. So maybe one individual writes all of the rules and one individual writes all the narrative, or one individual writes all the crusade. I don't know exactly how it looks. But one thing I'd like to see is uniformity across the rules writing team, because I think at the moment some of the disparity across codexes probably comes, or at least across the indexes, we'll call them indexes, probably comes from the fact that different people write different rules. That's one of the first things I'd do. A second thing I would do with 40k specifically, this is a personal thing, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one. Me personally, I'd scrap stratagems. I hate them. I've come to realise I hate stratagems. I really hate stratagems. I don't know if in my personal experience they've ever really added anything positive. They add an extra layer of complexity, an extra layer of rules interaction that you have to try and balance, that they often get wrong, as is evident. At the very least, they need to limit stratagems to 1 per unit so that you can't stack 3 on 1 unit to make it some super unit. But I would get rid of them. I don't like them. We didn't have them pre-8th edition. We didn't have them in the 8th edition indexes. I've actually come to hate stratagems in the CP system. Don't like it at all. Really don't like it. I'd get rid of it. The other thing I would do, third thing I would do, the most important thing I would do, I'd bring back old points straight away. Within a heartbeat, I would realise that power leveling the points is a bad move.
Hire a proofreader and make 2 versions of points, simple and granular.
Thing is, Alan, so hire a proofreader is 100% something they should do. Thank you so much for the 10, by the way. Thank you for taking part in that if I was in charge of 40k, okay? So first things first. Let's tackle that first piece. Hiring a proofreader. 100 million% they should have more than 1 proofreaders for this process. And maybe they do. If they do have a proofreader already, then the first thing I would actually do is sack the proofreader, okay? Because when index cards are going for sale that they already know are wrong before they actually go for sale on the release of a new edition, and then they have the updated versions as PDF downloads on the website, you know there's a problem, okay? There's definitely a problem, okay? So I think you're right, absolutely. 2 versions of points, well, they kind of did that, right? Power level and points was essentially 2 versions of points. Simple and granular. That's what they had before. Power level was simple and points were granular. Guess what? No one used power level really. And if they did, they are few and far between. Maybe you're one of those people who are sat in the audience right now going, hey Liam, fuck off. I actually used power level. I'd like to know if you did. Genuinely tell me in chat if you used power level, because I knew no one who ever used it ever. Even when we were planning on doing Crusade, we switched to points because points made more sense to us. Because I prefer the granularity. I really miss points. So I think they've already done that. Oh, I didn't just bring back proper points.
2 changes for me. 1. Bring back weapon points to make them a genuine choice. 2. Vastly narrow down the abilities on unit datasheets, because that's where all the supposed simplicity fell down.
I'm not sure if every single individual troops choice needs an ability, to be honest with you, Soups. I agree with you. I think there's too many. Characters, big, impressive units. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm okay with that. Every single fucking unit on the game having an ability? We didn't need that. We never needed that. Ever. But, yeah, I agree with both of those Soups. Points is a big one for a lot of people, actually, which is interesting. Right? Cool. Siri doesn't understand, apparently. You're on my favourite topic, Liam. Power level is crap. I hate power level so much.
A lot of people love the edition. Sure, there are things that need to be fixed. It's not about the edition, it's how you look at it. This negativity is not the kind
I am yet to meet someone who says they love the edition. Interesting, Halloran. Thank you for your 10 there, man.
So the Ninja Air Fryer arrived. The instructions worked from when I bought it to when I received it. No rerolls, no auras and parts didn't get put into Legends. It's not behind a paywall and delivers.
The thing is, Halloran, thanks guy, by the way, you're a legend. The thing is, Halloran, right, genuinely, the edition, I've said this a million times, I will continue to say this until they actually fix it. The edition has the potential to be a lot of fun. But there's just too many issues with it right now. There's just too many.
If I was in charge of 40k, I would lower the amount of words in descriptions.
Okay.
Some rules for Space Marines are full paragraphs. I thought 40k was going for simple rules, not trying to read a novel per buff on my Marines.
The thing, okay, right. First of all, Grain Train, thank you so much for the 20 Euro hero. The thing is, I think with this particular point, this is interesting because in this particular point, honestly, I think GW sit their head firmly between a rock and a hard place. Honestly, I sympathise with them on this one, okay? Genuinely. And I know you'll be like, what the fuck? Because I mean, I think I'm saying this right. Halloran is a little bit right. We've been quite negative lately. The whole team, like, if you speak to all the team, they're a bit down on 10th at the moment. So this is how I know it's not just me. And I've reached out to other creators as well in the space and had conversations with them. They're in kind of a similar place, right? My biggest problem with the whole edition right now, my biggest problem with 10th in general right now, if I'm honest with you, is simply the balance. Certain matchups are borderline an auto like decision, an auto kind of result, if that makes sense. I think that's the biggest issue. If they can solve the balance problem, I can deal with all of the other shit that exists in 10th edition. If they solve the balance problem between something like Death Guard and Eldar, I can deal with the wordy rules, and I can deal with the lack of points, and I can deal with the special rules in every single unit. I can deal with all that stuff, and I will love the game. My biggest problem is the balance. My biggest problem is the balance in the game right now. It's the only thing that's ruining it for me. Honestly, it's the only thing that's ruining it with me. You balance those armies out. You get everybody closer to that Goldilocks zone that Stu Black talks about so frequently, right? And I can live with everything else, and I'll have fun and I'll enjoy the edition again. And I think people like Joe would agree with me. Joe is one of the most 40k people I've ever met, and he's down on it right now. So you are right, the negativity is not becoming of me, but I've always said that we'll be honest, and if things are shit, we'll talk about the fact that they're shit, and currently 10th edition is shit, and the biggest reason for it being shit is because of the balance. And I'm not going to necessarily just force myself to be positive because it's the right thing to do.
Test, and test again. Harness the power of hundreds of creators who love the content and give them the task of crafting something that may just reach newbie and veteran.
I don't think they're. I don't know. Again, I don't think they're that far off of it with 10th. Actually, Combat Patrol leveling up to full blown. They've done such a good job in so many places, and the balance just removes it so hard. And although I disagree with some of the decisions that have been made, i.e. every single unit having a special rule and the changes to points, although I disagree with those changes, plenty of people have told me they like those changes, okay? So I think the only thing that we can all probably agree on, I think the only thing that everybody can probably agree on is that the balance is a real problem right now. Now, if we talk about Grain Train's super chat, the simplification of rules. The reason why I sympathise with Games Workshop and I say that they've got their head between a rock and a hard place is simply this. If you put their rules into one sentence, someone somewhere is going to try and interpret it different to how it's how it's intended. And there's been arguments for as long as I've played this game. There's been arguments on forums and in clubs about rules as intended versus rules as written. And people interpreting this English language in a way that sometimes is probably correct as per actual English and sometimes is clearly correct as per how they want to believe that it's correct, okay? And so GW, what they've kind of done over time, and I genuinely don't blame them for this, is they've got, their rules have gone from a sentence to bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So hey, if we put 18 sentences and 16 paragraphs in this rule, you cannot interpret it any other way, right? That's how it goes. That's how it goes. But I do get the fact that sometimes you read it and you go, this is fucking wordy. And it's not written well wordy either. So I get it. But, you know, I think they're rocking a hard place. Too wordy, they get criticised. Too simple when people abuse the rule. Do you get what I'm saying? That's my opinion anyway. Perhaps I'm wrong. Dave B, chippy is a takeaway. It isn't. You go to get a chippy, it's not a takeaway. I guess it's more of a takeaway than an actual takeaway because takeaways are actually bring to me. Right, James's will come through and I'm going to jump back in because we've heard some more from other people as well.
9th was probably one of the most balanced editions at the end. It only needed a slight tweak to unit toughness and some of the weapon strengths, not this mess with towering, dev wounds and points etc.
Dev wounds... Oh, okay, James. I like devastating wounds as a mechanic. I think it's over-applied. I like the mechanic. I think the mechanic is a good mechanic. When I saw the mechanic in the previews for 10th edition, I liked the idea. Anti something 4+ would trigger it. I like that as well. I think it's been over applied. I think it's been way too over applied, and there's too much of it in the game. But I actually like the mechanic, to be honest with you. Towering, I get it. I get what they've done it. And actually, by putting the points up for towering, I think that's probably all they needed to do. Indirect is probably a bigger issue right now, if I'm honest. Anyway, Aussie, I'm going to jump back into the other super chats who didn't get Amy to read them out for them. Aussie, thank you so much for the 2. I prefer that If I Was a Night Lord game. That was a great game. That was from a long time ago. And Niall Walsh, thank you for the 5. I, as a novice, want to play Garage Hammer under 3 hours, and even if I face an army that counters mine, I have the means to mitigate this. Yeah, I be honest with you, at the moment, if I'm honest, at the moment I take nothing from how long it takes to play a game, because we're still learning. We're still learning the game, we're still learning the edition, we're still reading up on stratagems.
I'd first start simple, scrap 10E, then, going back to the drawing board, work with a unified team to build a framework, then work with the community to find what will work and what won't. Work together, not against.
Here's a question for you, chat. Here's an interesting question. Thank you, Starpipe, for the 20, by the way. You're a legend, and thank you for your first ever super chat. Here's a genuine question for you, chat. Should GW use the public community and run public betas like certain video games do nowadays? Should they do that? Interested. But yeah, back to Niall super chat. I'm taking nothing at the moment about the length of time it takes to play a game at the moment, because on the channel at least, we're still learning armies. Paddy used his first ever game of Custodians last night. I think Joe used Guard for the 2nd time ever. So actually, I think we're probably not really taking too much from how long it takes. And I think once all of us on the channel start to really get to know our armies and get to dial in our armies and learn the unit rules and learn the stratagems available and all that kind of stuff and learn the statistics that have changed, I think at that point, I feel like we would probably shave another 30 to 60 minutes off the time of the game. The game length for me at the moment is not a game problem. It's the fact that we're learning it. And some of that issue is linked directly to the fact that it's so similar to 9th, we have to keep checking and double checking. Does that make sense? So give it some time, mate. I'm just saying now, I reckon the game time will come down, in my opinion.
But Liam, we should think of little Timmy as well. He is less interested in balance, but an overworded rule set would put him off for good. And personally, as a narrative lover versus competitive, consider this step 1.
That's interesting. I guess you're right, yeah. So the problem with overly wordy rules is the accessibility issue, and the accessibility balance again is a problem for them, because on the one hand you make it one single simple easy to understand sentence and little Timmy's more likely to pick up and play it because it's easy to read, but on the other hand, if that sentence leaves any kind of ambiguity, someone out there, do you know, right here, okay, this is where 248 people unsubscribe from the channel instantly, right? If you're watching my channel, if you're watching my content, let's be very clear about this. This probably doesn't apply to you, okay? In fact, this probably applies to a very small percentage. However, the worst thing about 40k, when it comes to rules, is a small percentage of competitive players. I'm not saying all competitive players. I'm not saying all players. To be clear, a small percentage of competitive players who will manipulate rules that may be slightly poorly written, or maybe not completely complete, or may be able to be interpreted in a multitude of ways for their own gain. They ruin it for people in general. And so GW have to get wordy so that little Timmy, when he comes up against one of these players, doesn't end up being completely surprised by what his opponent can do because he's decided to twist the way a rule works, you know? I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm kind of on the fence because I sort of look at, like, I genuinely look at some of the rules and I think, fucking hell, that's wordy. But then if you do read the whole thing and you go, I mean, it's clear and there's no way I can misinterpret it, then I kind of think that's a positive. Hard, right? Hard balancing out that one. Peter, thank you for the 5. I'd probably make it less lethal and reduce the amount of rerolls. I mean, Maximilian, thank you for the 5. Chaos would reign supreme. Really enjoy catching up on the streams and wishing you well with the business expansion. We're trying, chat. We're trying. It's hard. It's hard. It's terrifying. Taking on a business expense like a property is fucking terrifying. because you have to. I don't know if in other countries it works the same as this. I have no idea, if I'm honest with you. But in the UK, at least, you have to sign a lease, and typically, for business property, most places are asking for around 5 years as a lease. Okay, which means I have to tie myself into a 5-year contract that I will promise to pay essentially for the next 5 years. So I'm gambling on this channel, still going as it is, as it has for the last 6 months, for the next 5 years. I'm gambling on you lot, relying on you. Okay, that's where we're at. But I do think we can bring you more and better content if we do it. So I think it's worth it, ultimately. Crisis, thank you for the 5. Switch to D10 so you can differentiate units by stats and not by writing literally hundreds of special rules that throw out broken interactions. The amount of people that really want it to come away from D6 is really interesting. Crisis, I love you. I know you've been on streams forever. Thank you so much for the donate. You're a hero. You are a hero. But I couldn't disagree more with changing it to a D10 system. And this is where sometimes I'm the problem, because this is one of those situations where it sounds a little bit, Liam, like you want your cake and eat it. And what I mean by that is I don't want to come away from D6 because I like it being a D6 system. It's always been a D6 system. I've only ever known it being a D6 system. And so I think for me, there is nostalgia in it being a D6 game on the tabletop. But I also don't want, like you say, literally hundreds of special rules that throw out broken interactions. I don't want that either, but I want to keep it D6. So perhaps I'm part of the problem there as well. Like, because maybe I just can't have both. Maybe that's just something that doesn't exist. Who knows? Dave, thank you for the 2. Oh, we've done that one already. Chippy is a 2. Wait, it's not. Kenneth Evans, thank you much for gifting 5 of the finest memberships. Puts us on 30, which, you know, if you're good at your maths, means that we're currently 30% towards our target for the night. Actually, chat, I'm going to be honest with you right now. Secretly, my target isn't 100 a night. Secretly, my target is 318. I know it sounds a lot. I'm sorry. Makes me sound ungrateful. Means I need at least 10 times more than what we've already got, plus some. Okay. And that's because Eddie's stream from last Thursday currently holds the record of 317 gifted memberships. And I really hate Eddie holding a record on anything on the channel. So, 275 people. Okay. If everyone gifts 1 and a few of you gift 2 to 5, we will beat Eddie's 317 record, members. I need it. I need to beat the record. I have nothing to give away right now. I have nothing to give away at the moment, but maybe I could work something out. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for the 5 gifted memberships. You're an absolute legend. Yes, and thank you for the 5. No, Blizzard ran a closed beta and open beta for Diablo 4 and they still messed it up. You need to employ people on competence only. That's interesting. Okay. So you're against the public being an open beta. A public beta. I kind of think... I'm not sure about it. I don't know where I stand on that one. I don't know how hard it would be. It's easier for a video game, right, to be a public beta than it is for a tabletop war game, because people would arguably make purchases based on the public beta rules.
Personally, I would simplify 40k but not make it simple, but that's me. Your accounts look fine.
Thanks, Guy. Thanks for 10. You're here. And Eric, thank you for the gifted, putting us on 31. So, see, some of you, this is the problem now. I say this if everyone gifts 1, and only like 5 people do it. So come on, chat, if you're listening. It's a couple of buttons. Costs you 5 to 6 quid, all right? Just for a gift. Show us it. Amazing. Sister Marcy, thank you for the gifted as well. You're a hero. I'm going to update the tracker in just a moment. In fact, I'm going to update it right now. Because 2 of them have done it, it makes it a nice round 135. And that makes me super happy when it's multiples of 5. That satisfies my mild OCD. So, James, thank you for the 5. We have multiple games on the weekend that finished in under 1 hour, and these were all turn 2-3 wipes. Oh, wow. 1 to 2 games per round had this, and it was rough. That was at a GT, James, or a GT, right? A tournament. Interesting. Okay. That's not good, is it, to be fair? Archon Psylocke, thank you for the 5. 90% players don't know the core rules or faction rules yet. I would rather deal with 1% exploiting than 90% being clueless and complaining. Hell no. I mean, I feel like I'm placed to complain with the amount that we play. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not. It's a weird one for us, right? Because I think I can be very honest and say that all of my team were incredibly positive right at the start. And then as we've played more and more, they've kind of gone, this is a bit shit in places. But like I've said to you already, I 100% attribute it to the balance between factions. So Joe and Paddy actually had a lot of fun last night. We went off camera and they both kind of enjoyed it, right? They both enjoyed themselves. Even though it was pretty much a foregone conclusion with those two armies. There is better Astrum Retirement lists out there, but there's also better Custodes lists out there, to be fair. But that's because of the type of people that we are and the fact that they self-regulated. Ultimately. It's hard, isn't it? If the balance is better, if you...
Towering should turn all RNG weapons into indirect weapons when targeting from more to a towering model. When firing indirectly, ignore all other weapon keywords. Granulated points cost.
Thanks for 10, Face Dreamer. Interesting points. Is towering as much as an issue now they've bumped the point slightly as it was? Is it? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if it is. I think it's probably a little bit less of a problem now that the points have gone up, but I haven't really played with or against towering recently. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. But granulated points cost for me 100% needs to come back. When firing indirectly, ignore all other weapon keywords is interesting because you lose the heavy bonus. I'm not against that either. I think the thing is, the majority of people that have an issue with the edition so far kind of agree on what the issues are on the whole as well. So indirect being one of them, towering being another one. Like people typically points and granulated points cost being another one. Honestly, balance can be dealt with a couple of tweaks here and there. Majority of what we're going to probably see them do for balance is tweak points because that's what they do. That's fine. Like I'm okay with that as a balancing mechanic as well, but you need the granularity, in my opinion, to be able to do that balancing. And I'm seeing some of you in chat already saying melee sucks and movement sucks. I, as a World Eaters player, I'm suffering slightly this edition, which is hard, right? World Eaters came out in 9th, and they were arguably, specifically competitively with the secondary objectives they had access to, arguably they were too good, and that was hard for me to swallow as a person who moaned about the codex when it came out. And then went, wow, this army is actually fucking insane with the secondaries that it has. And so they went from being insanely good in 9th to just kind of hitting like a wet fish now. I'm not the cynical individual who thinks that GW does this on purpose. I'm genuinely not. We joke about this a lot, right? So if I'm going to be serious for just a moment, we joke about this a lot on the channel. And we joke about how, oh, why is this unit so good now? Oh, they need to sell more of them. Why is this unit no good anymore? Oh, they sold enough of those now. I actually don't believe they do that. I don't believe they make Kazakin bonkers when the Astrum Retirement Codex comes out, knowing that they're going to only sell them in big boxes for a while, and then they're going to sell them in kill team boxes, and then suddenly they nerf them because they've sold enough. Because how can they have sold enough? Surely they just want to keep selling them. Just keep selling them, keep selling them, keep selling them. I actually don't believe they change rules to sell more or sell less. I don't think that's the thing they do. I do think that there is an element of that unit's not ever used or taken or selected at tournaments. So how do we make it slightly better so we see more of them at tournaments, which in turn would result potentially in more purchases of said unit. Hey, we never see a... I don't fucking know. Let's have a think. We never see a scout land speeder at tournaments. I don't know. Land speeder storm, whatever they're called. Why do we never see them? Well, they're overcosted for what they can do. They're too expensive in points, or they're not good enough. So we make a tweak to the rule, or we make a tweak to the points. Now they're suddenly viable, and we start seeing them at tournament lists. Not in every single tournament list, but we start seeing some, and that's where a unit's at a good balance point, right? Now, inevitably, that could result in people going, "Oh, I'm going to go right one now."
That is an excellent point. Almost like you can't miss against towering, so you get 12 for 2d6. If they can shoot you from wherever, we can shoot them with everything. Melee is still broken all round.
Melee is... but how do you fix melee? If we're all saying melee is broken, how do we fix melee? Extra AP? Maybe? I don't know. World Eaters versus Custodians. Your World Eaters players having fun. Fuck no. Amazing. All right, James Hobbs, thank you for the 2. Rerolls and modified dice shouldn't count as crits. Yeah, okay, I like that one. That's a good fix. I'm a fan of that. Tracking it could be a pain, maybe, but I like it. It's simple enough, right? Would you guys be willing to play a game where you just play the unit and weapon stats, no special rules or strats at all, just play the stat lines? 100% we'd give things a go for a giggle, Gaz, for like a bonus stream. That sounds like it could be fun. I love the idea of bonus. Like I've wanted this. I've had this idea for a while of streams where we make changes to rules or tweaks to rules on purpose just to see how it lands and how it works, right? Like that, I think would be really interesting. It'd be really cool to do. Like I had this weird concept for a series of streams or videos where we could essentially build and make our own rule set if we wanted to, like over time, and then compile it and maybe we release it as a PDF or something. I theorize that we would make something terrible, probably worse than what GW make right now. I theorize we'd make something terrible, if I'm honest with you. I don't think we do a great job, and I do sympathise with them because they do get a hard rap for what is a very difficult job, but they just make some simple mistakes which they really shouldn't be making, if we're honest, to be fair, right? Anyway, Jill, thank you for the gifted membership. Adrian, thank you for the gifted membership. 2 more. I told you only 4 people would do it. I did say that, didn't I? I did say. Then Big Bad Peter Gamer, thank you for the 2. Who's playing chat plays tomorrow and which armies? Wow. Chat plays, chat might have to be cancelled. I know. Tears in chat. Chat plays might have to be cancelled. It was me, Brom, and Joe tomorrow. Brom's little one has been admitted to hospital tonight after being in A&E. So he is not going to be with us tomorrow because he absolutely should not be with us tomorrow. He should be at the hospital with his little one. So it's just Joe and I. And I won't do a game with just 2 people. I won't. Because I don't like the production quality of a player being a person who's producing the stream. So I don't know what we're going to do yet, but...
If I were in charge, I would execute whoever kept pseudo actions in the game. This is a war game where instead of shooting and fighting you have to stand somewhere and do nothing to score points.
Thank you for the 10. I hate actions so much.
Alternating actions, D8 system. Basic troops have no special rules, no strats, no rerolls, no auras. I like the dual profile for weapons on Apocalypse and Melee need transports possibly in the points.
Cool. I mean, that's a lot of changes, Kai, as well, though. Basic troops have no special rules. Yeah, okay, I'm okay with that one. No strats, I'm okay with. No rerolls. When they sold it as a lot less rerolls, I was kind of on board with that one. No rules is interesting. No auras. I personally don't like auras. I like the dual profile for weapons on Apocalypse and Melee. Need transport, possibly in the points. Need transports, possibly in the points. Okay, interesting. Oh, the only thing, alternating actions and D8 system, I don't love, Kai. I love you, Kai, but I don't like alternating actions and D8 system. D8, does it offer much more than D6? I mean, it probably does, actually, mathematically thinking about it. Alternating actions just makes things take a lot longer, I fear. Hard. Most of that, though, I'm on board with, 100%. Angron Leghorn, welcome to the channel as a Jarl tier member. What a hero. And then Michael I'm going to murder this. Bellinger or Bellinger? Bellinger? Thank you for the gifted membership, you legend. That puts us on 35, chat, which is 35% of the way towards tonight's target, right? That's where we're at. So yeah, chat plays might have to be cancelled. I'm really sad about it, genuinely, because we missed chat plays last week. And... last month, sorry. And the thing is with chat plays, right? This will make me sound like a bit of a dick, but I'm going to say it anyway. Chat plays is tons of fun. We enjoy it. We'll get that out of the way first. We actually really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. But chat plays is so vitally important to the channel. And one of the reasons why we put it on the first Thursday of the month is because we have a monumental cash injection on the channel on the first Thursday of the month from chat plays. And then I almost always get to breathe a little sigh of relief and go, okay, right. Because self-employed YouTube stuff means the first week or 2 of the channel is tense whilst we try and make sure we make enough money that I can pay all the bills. This is potentially going to become slightly more tense as we move into attempting to get our hands on our own studio. And so really don't want to lose any revenue, but it's mini Brom. Like, health comes 100% first. 100% first. Health and family come 100% first. You have to also realise, chat, Brom is a volunteer. I cover his hobby to say thank you for coming on the channel and getting abused by you lot, but he is just a volunteer. So he has no work-based commitment to us. He just comes and spends his free time.
I honestly haven't had any issues with melee in my games yet. I did 1k Space Wolves versus 1k Chaos Space Marines and had Chaos Board wiped by bottom of turn 2.
Oh wow, Zenna. What the fuck were you doing there? Weighted dice? I'm joking, obviously. I'm joking. Anyway, where were we? Where? I need to get back to these. So, Ginger Steve, thank you for the 5. Eddie, he's a man. If he can't do it, a tall person can. If not a tall person, a small person with a stool, or an average person stretching. Thanks, Steve. You legend. Adrian, I think I thanked you for the gifted already. You're a legend. I love you. George, thank you for the 5. I certainly think they had a habit of making new Marine units strong on release and nerfing later. Eradicators and aggressors shooting twice, then gone. Yeah, but I still don't think that's just for... Like, I don't think that's for profit, chat. Honestly, don't think that's for profit. I think... My personal belief is that the rules writers, on the whole, at GW, are just passionate hobbyists. And so when they get given a new unit and they get told, here's this new unit that's never existed before, write some cool fucking some cool rules for it and some cool narrative for it, go. Oh, what can we make this unit do? This is something we've not done before. This is super cool, right? And they do it and they go, this is an amazing unit, and they stick it out there into the world of 40k, where there's 18 factions plus maybe more, all got codexes, loads of rules, loads of special rules, loads of stratagems, loads of interactions, and out comes the unit, and we go, oh wow, that means I can do X, Y, and Z. That's incredible. We could do that. And and then the GW rules writing team go, that wasn't intended. Often I genuinely believe it wasn't intended when something comes out broken, and they go, we need to calm this back down again. We need to calm this down. And then they get nerfed. And I don't think it's related to sales. I don't think they release a new Space Marine unit, watch the sales, and then go, cool, sold enough of those, nerf them. Like, I don't think they do that. Because if the sales are doing that, why would they, unless what you're suggesting is their sales do that, there's a sales plateau, they go, all right, we've done that now we nerf. I don't know. I'm not sure. Right. Where were we? So we thanked Angron. You're a hero. Ginger Steve, thank you for the 5. Give melee with an anti-infantry, anti-monster, or anti-vehicle. Then it can wound its target. Maybe give some more than one. Make it 4+, 3+. Rarely done. I don't know. I don't know about that. Steve, I love you. I don't know about that. Did I skip yours, Adrian? Did I? Did I? Oh, of course. Sorry, it comes up as yellow because it recognises it's 10, but Amy didn't read it out. I apologise. I'm into it now. Some YouTubers don't help. You're fine. You have integrity. Their large audience attitudes influence Games Workshop and have driven major changes to 40k in the last 6 years, give or take. Not all were good. Do you think that's true? So first of all, Adrian, thank you so much for the 10. You're a hero. Absolute hero. Do you think we have an actual... Like, I've joked in the past, often, I've joked about how I said I wanted this and GW have done it. I actually believe I have close to zero influence or impact on GW whatsoever. Now, granted, I'm not a large YouTube channel. We're a small YouTube channel trying to grow into a large YouTube channel, but we are a small YouTube channel, right? So I actually don't believe, honestly, I've really had any influence on the game whatsoever, or any decisions that they've made in terms of the shaping and building of 40k. And I think I'd be quite naive to think or believe that I might have any kind of influence on it. So when we're talking about bigger channels, we've got Titans, we've got Play on Tabletop, we've got Mini Wargaming, we've got Tabletop Tactics, channels like that. Has anyone really had a major impact on rules changes that have been negative? And I'll be fair. I'll be honest. I'm happy to be proven wrong here. Like, I don't mind if you go, well, yeah, this, for example. I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay. And if they have had a negative impact, I don't think any of them would have done it on purpose, because we rely on this game being good. Like some people have commented on some of the negativity that's come from the channel lately. I get it, but I've always promised we'll be honest, and I've always encouraged the guys to be honest about how they feel. I don't want them to fake smile. Everything's good. The old fake Jeremy Clarkson smile. Everything's good. I don't want them to do that. I have no interest in wanting them to do that, because I would rather they were honest about it. But we want the game to be good and fun. We want the game to be as good and fun as possible. And the reason why I want the game to be as good and fun as possible is because that's how my business succeeds. I was so hopeful, and so I thought 10th edition was so promising. And I was like, oh, this could actually be a massive boost to the channel. It just hasn't been, because a lot of people out there, I've had a lot of DMs, a lot of personal messages from people that have said, I'm going to give it a break for 2 months until they fix it. The positive is a lot of people are saying, until they fix it, then I'll come back and play. Right? So that's I'm taking that at least, like, oh, please don't go away forever, because I love the community more than I love the game. I'll play this shit edition if I get to play with you lot. I'm happy with playing this shit edition. I don't care. I'll still play. I still have fun. Not negativity per se, but competitively oriented changes definitely. Yeah, I don't know if that's just YouTubers either. I mean, maybe you're not wrong there. But there's other individuals in other individual positions, even within GW themselves, that have lent this edition to be, or let's say this edition, the game in general over the course of the last few years, to have a hyper focus on competitive based balance and changes, which I'm not necessarily all for. Okay. I'm going to ask you a whole different question, chat, then. Because I have had a few people commenting about the negativity that's coming out of the channel. So I'm going to ask you a whole different question. And I want you to be honest with us. Like, banter aside, I want you to be honest with us right now. Because maybe it's me that needs to adjust here with 10th edition. Did we set unrealistic expectations with the addition of this game? And are we being overly harsh and overly critical of the edition right now? That's the simple question, right? Cass says, I've been summoning support for Cass for more time will tell. Did you really want to be a moderator again, Cass? Do you really? You threatened earlier to go off and watch Hellstorm. Do I really want a moderator that's just going to go off and watch Hellstorm, Cass? In the meantime, where are we? I'm catching up. Soups for the 5. Thanks for the 5, Soups. You're a legend. I have an idea. 10 plus super chat gets you 60 seconds remote access to OBS. Chat produces would be amazing if it was possible. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. No, yes, no, yes, yes, yes. No, yes, 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 yes. I think so. Not unreasonable. Not us. GW did. We 100% did. Okay. Poll time, says Halorian. Maybe we polled it. I'm actually going to poll this. This is an interesting poll, I think. Start a poll. Okay. Ask. I want to see this actually. I'm going to ask it in a poll so I can actually track this. No, GW oversold it to get community buy-in after 9th on its last legs. Yes, we should have known GW was. This is interesting. It's interesting how kind of split this is. I think it would never live up to the hype. Yes, just a little. Says Flash Trouser. Flash Trouser Man's a great name. By the way, chat. 35% towards the membership goal and loads of grey names in chats. If you want to get sniping, get sniping.
I think GW set a precedent that they didn't follow through with.
Because the thing is, if there is a kind of overwhelming lean towards, yeah, we did kind of over expect, we did have unreasonable expectations, and there is a possibility that I need to perhaps reassess, wind it back a bit, and then kind of okay, maybe this is me, and maybe I'm just getting in this negative habit that I've always talked about trying to avoid. Right? So I've always wanted to avoid the negative spiral, you know, the habitual negativity. I don't want that to be us ever. I was kind of hoping if I was in charge of 40k would be a positive spin. How would we change things for the positive? Like, what things would we do?
No, from what you initially saw and showed us, it looked great. Maybe it's a bit of a rug pull from GW.
Maybe, okay, maybe, by the way, 40k Medics fan, thank you both for the 10. Maybe, actually, GW's marketing team did too good of a job. Maybe that's what happened. Did we ever think about that? Maybe their marketing team just did too good of a job. Perhaps that was a thing. I'm old school, having zero expectations from GW, so don't see the big negative. Thanks, Night the Fallen, you're a hero. Fate's Daydreamer, thank you so much for dropping the 10 gifted, you fucking hero. What a legend. And then the Yeston coming in with a 1. What a hero. 46% now. I can add the 11 plus the 3, 8, 9, 4, 9. There we go. Oh, no, that's wrong. Tracker updated. Yeah. Thanks, chat. You're all heroes. It's definitely all on GW. Is it? I mean, possibly. The rerolls and streamlining is my only issue where I felt it was lied to, but other than that, typical new edition stuff. Maybe it's just the marketing didn't speak to the rules team at all. Right. Interestingly, with the votes as well, I'm fascinated by how close this is. Our expectations weren't unreasonable. GW set and sold us those expectations. They kind of did, yeah. I think the marketing team, I'm going to give them some credit. The marketing team did an incredible job of making me so excited for 10th edition. So excited for 10th edition. And I still think the game is going to be incredible. I'm still looking forward to the next 3 years of 40k. Genuinely. Like, it's not coming across. I am genuinely looking forward to the next 3 years of 40k. Because I think 10th has got potential. So much potential. I think I could do so many cool things with it. So I'm genuinely really looking forward to it. I just need the balance to be fixed. Jill, thank you for the 5. I think a lot of players expected a new game with no changes, where nothing died, but everything was super deadly. It's on us to manage expectations. That's an interesting 5, Jill. That is genuinely interesting as well. I think when you look at that, I think when you look at that statement, how true is that though? I want all of my units to be super durable and they don't just die and fall over to a stiff breeze, but I also want my units to be super killy and kill all my opponent's units. Like, that's all of us, isn't it? That's 100% every single one of us. Joe, thank you for the 2. Head versus heart. My heart will always love 40k. That's the problem I have. I say problem. That's not a problem, is it? This is how, chat, this is how you can tell that you're never going to not get 40k out of us. Because I just love the fucking game so much. And I was chatting to a friend who was down this weekend about this quite a lot, who said, how you feeling about 10th? And I was honest. I was like, actually, I don't like it loads at the moment. I actually said that if it wasn't for the channel, I probably wouldn't be playing it right now. But I also said that thanks to the channel, I have the constant interaction with the 40k community. And I actually think that on the whole, the 40k community is fucking incredible. And I love it. And the 40k community is basically what keeps me going all the time. It's so good. It's so good. And you do get bad apples, and we all hear about those bad apples, and you have the actions of the very, very few that tarnish the name of the many. But actually, on the whole, you lot out there are fucking amazing. You're amazing people.
The issue I have with 10th edition is it feels ever so close to being good, but it's small things all over the place that drag it down.
I hate saying this with Starius, although I love Starius. 100% agree with that entirely. It's little things. And I think that's because there's lots of little niggly things, which means that if you fix one little niggly thing, it might not necessarily fix the whole problem. Ever so close to being good is 100% true. Absolutely. Absolutely. Crisis, thank you for the 5. Would people be less upset if GW had openly stated that the first 6 months would be beta with no purchasable rules and asked for a community's help? I don't think they would. It was interesting earlier that when I asked if it should have been an open beta, a lot of people said no. Interesting. I'm really worried they won't have the balls to admit mistakes in the core rules and FAQ rather than fix all the problems of point changes. think maybe. I mean, they've actively changed rules in things like 9th edition, George. So although I don't think they'll change rules this early on in the game, I mean, I think on the whole, if anybody expected them to just flat change a rule immediately in 10th, they would have been disappointed. But yet they did. They changed Fate Dice straight away. Like, the edition hadn't been out for a month, they changed Fate Dice. Like, we should be applauding them for that. That's really good. That they respond that quickly. Maybe they went too hard on Fate Dice, but they actually changed the rule within the first month.
As a Votan player, I felt pretty down about this edition and my first 3 games felt really bad. But after Factorum this weekend, I found my love for the game again and actually won 3 of the 5 games.
Hey, I saw that, Tim. Well done, man. Glad you enjoyed it, bud.
I think the first codex is so crucial now. It will set the tone and might promise a new dawn, or early bath.
I'm hyped for codexes, and maybe this is again me setting unreasonable expectations. I'm hyped for codexes, 100%. 100% I am. But yeah, so in response to George, so I'm back to you, George. In response to you though, buds, they've already changed rules. Like, we had this conversation when I was at Titans, and I fully expected them to change 0 rules for the first 6 months and just let it settle and use the reason, whatever you want to call it, of we're letting it settle. And I wouldn't have blamed them for doing that. Genuinely, I wouldn't have blamed them for doing that at all. But they didn't. They changed Fate Dice almost immediately. So honestly, I can't criticize them for at least reacting well, if I'm honest. I mean, maybe it should never, people will argue it should never have come out like that, right? But they reacted well. I'll give them that much. Molecule Cody, thank you so much for the 5. Like you said, they added cool concepts and just way over applied them. Is melee broken, or was melee just too much at the end of 9th? That's an interesting concept. Maybe melee was too much at the end of 9th. Maybe they've toned it down too hard. Interesting. Blacktooth Gobsmasher, thank you for the 5. 9th was facing stagnating sales outside of competitive play. 10th was meant to fix, but released too early, unfinished. I think it was unfinished. I think they have dropped it early because of 9th. I feel like that was the case. There's no evidence. I have no proof. I feel like that was the case. Meh. Phil, thank you for the 2. You're still just trying to win. I don't know if you've seen me play, mate. There's no way I'm trying to win. I'm aware of my level of competitiveness and how I play the game. I don't think I turn up to win. I think I turn up to have fun, my friend. But thank you so much for the 2. Adrian, thank you for the 25. They're giving us time to slay the grey. We should use the time well. I'm building Vashtor at the moment. Vashtor's a lovely model. I actually really like it. Hope you're having fun with him. Danny, thank you for the 5. I love the lore. I love painting and modelling, but my games of 10th was so awful in so many ways, I lost all motivation to hobby. That's a shame. That is a shame. By the way, I should say Alan and Tim, thank you so much for the 10. Both of you, you're both heroes. Will, thank you for the 2. Just play how I do. Sod it, just have fun. Ask James. I love the way you play, Will. Inspiration to all of us. Revenants, I don't know how... Will's incredible, by the way, chat. A man who's lost literally thousands of pounds worth of hobby in the last few months because of the amount of stuff that Games Workshop have moved to Legends or removed from play or whatever they've done with it. Still cheerful, still goes to a GT, still has fun. What a hero. Love you, Will. Revenants, thank you for the 5. As a super casual player, all I wanted was for 10th to help me bring more friends to the hobby, and it has. The rest is things that iron out for me. That's amazing. Are we seeing more new people come into the hobby? I hope we are. If we say on the whole much more in this channel, and I bet you can get a Preparation H sportsmanship to help with that studio. A Preparation H sponsorship. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, all you beautiful people, for the super chats as well, by the way. You're amazing. Rezil, thank you for the 5. The internet will always complain, but that doesn't mean serious criticism should be dismissed or unsaid. We should continue to speak up. Yeah, I agree. It's a thing that we've done on the channel for ages, okay? 100% honesty and integrity all times. Talk about how I feel. I'm not going to be negative because it sells, gets content, gets views, gets people in. I'm not going to do that, ever. But I'm not going to be positive for the same reason. And if people don't like the fact that I'm being negative about something, or don't like the fact that I'm being positive about it, they are more than entitled to their opinion. And I actually welcome the discussion. I like the discussion. I like people disagreeing with me, because if they disagree with me in a polite way, we have a good discussion. And I have, even on stream in the past, changed my mind on things because chat has convinced me that I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong. Like, I'm actually okay with that. Because it's good conversation. It makes this job really fucking easy as well if you don't disagree with me. It's good conversation. I won't accept people who just get moany about me having a whinge about the state of the game, and just say certain things that are kind of unnecessary to say to someone, you know. But on the whole, I welcome the conversation, honestly. I felt like 9th was finally in a great place towards the end. I mean, isn't that the edition cycle, though? Isn't that how the edition goes? Edition starts off, edition gets tidied and tidied and tidied and tidied to the end of its life, where it's pretty much in a relatively decent place-ish, and then it's reset new edition and we start all over again. And arguably, although I disagree that they make strong rules or weak rules specifically for kit sales, arguably we need the edition cycle to happen the way the edition cycle, or Games Workshop needs the edition cycle to happen the way that the cycle happens, so that they can continue to sell new things and refresh ranges and all that kind of stuff. I dabbled in the hobby when I was younger, back in 4th edition. After all this time, this edition is the one that brought me back, and I enjoy it, but don't really have much to compare it against, says Snezzy. I'm glad you're back, man. I'm 100% glad you're back. Hi, mate. Hope you two are well. We're all right. We're not too bad. We're not too bad. Get incredibly nervous about putting an offer in on another studio. But we're trying. We're trying, chat. We don't need a new edition once it's fixed, though. We don't need... No, Rezio, okay. We don't need a new edition once it's fixed. You are not wrong. But it's not about us. It's about shareholders. And they like new editions. And if you look at the share price, you'll see that they like new editions. Makes them lots of money. Anyway, thank you so much to everybody who's super chatted this evening. You people are incredible. Don't forget, 10% of it goes to charity. You guys are amazing. We are, however, only 46% of the way through the membership goal for the night. We need 54 new members to hit 100. I might have to start thinking about turning the voucher back on in the future. I feel like they didn't plan a full codex reset. They had all those weird individual chapter boxes that had no hype and lots of rumours of second Space Marine codex rumours everywhere. Late start rules. I think 10th was rushed out, if I'm honest. Fear the Dark. How about Sniper Scouts? Out of the gates. Great. Sold out. We take them off. Thanks a lot, Games Workshop. Yeah. Adrian from Titans released a short about that. Hope everyone's ready for the jump Primaris Lieutenant. All 3 of them. If it's about shareholders, and I agree, then why do you think GW doesn't manipulate rules for profit? Because I don't think... Because... Okay. Some of you will be recent to the channel. Some of you will have been with us for a while. Some of you will have been aware that throughout some of 9th edition, I was a playtester. Okay. The lead time in writing the rules to release is part of the reason why so much of the imbalance exists. Okay. So, if a rule is balanced in playtesting against current meta, and then in 6 months' time that meta has wildly shifted, it might happen that that rule is either completely broken or completely useless because of how the meta has shifted. For rules to be released to directly impact sales, the lead time on those rules would have to be significantly shorter. Does that make sense? So that's why, although I do believe it's about shareholders, I don't think the rules specifically are there to drive sales. New codex releases, new model range, because a codex release. So there is a slight caveat to that. Okay. So it might be that they have a new codex release, and it might be that they're looking to drive sales for that particular faction, maybe, and that faction might get better. But I also think that, I don't think that codex creep is done for sales. Maybe I'm being too kind to GW here, but I don't think codex creep is done for sales. I think codex creep is done because they learn themselves their own edition and their own rules and the kind of limits within that edition and what they can do and the sort of cool extra stuff they can do. And I think with each codex they try to do something new and interesting and freshen it up. And I think that's why sometimes it feels like there's codex creep, because they're trying to do something new and interesting and freshen it up, rather than just try and make something broken. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just trying not to be that cynical. I just don't think rules written are done for financial gain. I think things like super cool new box sets, and I think that's probably why we saw so many of the double faction box sets last year, because I think things like super cool new box sets probably instantly make them more cash than just making a good unit, if I'm honest. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, some people responded to my call. I blew my horn of Gondor. We're now 57% of the way through. That's 57 out of 100. 58% of the way through. 58 out of 100. Because Mr. Svenholio and Angron gifted 1 each, you heroes. And then Chris Stanford and Drop Dead Dave both gifted 5. 12 new members in the chat. Whoop, whoop, exclamation mark Discord. Come and join us in the Great Hall Discord server if you got yourself a membership from those beautiful people. 161. The Discord server is incredible and it's full of legends, so come and hang out with us pretty please. You're all amazing. You're all amazing. I love you. The Discord server is a cool place. I need to do more with that Discord server to make it... I want more of you to want to be in there, okay? I want more of you to want to be members. If you...
Old points, but used point values as low as 1. Easier to balance war gear with this. Strats should be only universal ones. Then special rules can be more toward the flavor, like the new army-only strats.
Here's my first thing I would do with stratagems, right? This is a thing I've wanted to do with stratagems forever. There's 2 things, actually. One that I want to do, definitely. One that I think I would like to implement. I'd like to know your thoughts. The first one is that a unit can only be affected by a single stratagem at once. So take Thousand Suns, for example. With Magnus, you can drop a stratagem on him to make indirect weapons, and you can also drop another stratagem on him to reroll hits and wounds with psychic weapons. Okay. I would prefer it if I had to pick one or the other and I couldn't have both. I think that calms stratagems down a lot, but still makes the stratagem mechanic work perfectly fine within the current edition. The other thing I wanted to do forever, I don't think I'll do this. I absolutely don't think I'll do this. The other thing I wanted to do forever, right, is I wanted them to say each stratagem was 1 use per battle. So could you use Overwatch? You can use Overwatch once. Every stratagem is 1 use per battle, so you have to pick that moment where Overwatch is super important to you. Right? That's what I would like to see. But newbie to 40k for 10th, and a lot of the discussion I saw leading up to it felt like a wish list rather than tempered expectations. Probably not helping by GW all the positive buzzwords. Glacier, oh my god. Positive buzzwords, 100%. Like I said, the marketing team did an excellent job because we were all hype. Weren't we? Most of us? I saw a couple of naysayers. I saw a couple of people that weren't hype. Not loads, a couple. So one of them, for example, Starius, who's in chat right now, he was a bit cynical leading up to the release. Maybe cynical is not the right word. He was just kind of like, I'm not sold on what I'm seeing. And he's actually, to be fair to the guy, has basically stopped playing for now until it's more balanced, more fixed. But most people were like I did. I was guilty of this. I just jumped on the hype train. It's interesting that some people have said that the expectations weren't unreasonable, but only because GW made the promise, which is interesting. There's just too many special rules, period, says Rezio. I don't disagree. Yes, a star pilot to me and the strat stuff. Strats once per game would make them feel much more special. Absolutely. Once per battle round would be a start. Yeah, absolutely. What about a single buff per unit at a time? Either a strat, a psychic power, a leadership buff. Interesting. Okay. The other thing I want rid of, the other thing I 100% want rid of, right, is I saw can use a stratagem for free. I was like, that's a cool rule. And then realized that everyone's got it somewhere. I was like, oh, come on. I was told by Games Workshop store manager that they aren't planning on doing a Q&A at all anymore. It's the community job now. Doing QA at all anymore. I wouldn't be surprised. Chat, we've got 58 new members. Can we get 42? Who's feeling like a big dick and wants to drop 20? Come on. Someone can. Melee can suck. Movement can suck. If they just changed to randomized unit activation rather than, oh, turn 2, I'm dead, I'd enjoy Warhammer 40k so much better. I mean, maybe that's something we try one day. Maybe we do that on stream. Alternative unit activation. We just apply the bolt action. Do we apply the bolt action mechanic? Maybe. Halloran, thank you for not taking my comment at the start the wrong way. I don't. I mean, to be fair, mate, First of all, thank you for the 5. To be fair, you've got to be pretty fucking nasty to me for me to take it personally or get narky with it. I don't shy away from criticism. Honestly, I don't. And I want, if the channel gets to a point where people aren't enjoying the content, I absolutely want people to say, "Come on, Liam, this is getting to something that we don't want to enjoy." Like I've said this a million times before. This is my livelihood. This is my family's income. This is what keeps a roof over my children's heads and literally puts food on the table. We are hoping to expand. We're hoping to add a studio. That's a financial commitment that I am making, that I'm going to be responsible for. So I need this to continue to make money. If people aren't enjoying the content because I'm being a fucking monumental douchebag, guess what? The channel stops making money, and then I have to pay for a studio with no income, and then we end up on the street. It's quite literally the road, right? That's quite literally where the road goes. Okay, that's exactly what happens. So I would rather you guys were just honest all the time. So I'm not going to ever take it the wrong way. Thank you for the 5, you legend. You didn't need to super chat that, but you're a hero. Crisis, thank you so much for the gifted. You're a hero. Puts us up another one. 59 plus 3, 52. Thank you for the gifts, people. Amazing. 59% of the way through. 41 to go. D10s or D12s. The more, to be honest, I'm looking forward to Legions Imperialis more than I was looking forward to 10th. From the preview, Spec Games have done another builder by basic new Epic on 2 edition Epic rather than 40k dumbing it. My only content wish is short videos. I need the studio. I cannot explain to you people how much I think this studio, if we can get our hands on one, is going to unlock. Honestly. Because I'm going to be able to build sets. Honestly, I'm going to be able to build sets. So by being able to build sets, I should be able to have a quick film set for filming short form content. I should be able to have a nice podcast set for filming podcasts. I should be able to have the gaming setup that isn't in a garage where we can only access 2.5 sides of the table for that kind of content. I'm so excited about getting my hand on that. But I need to find somewhere. We found somewhere. I then put an offer in, and then someone else put a better offer and had better financial cash flow than we did. So you win some, you lose some. Find another place, right? Liam has my support for every idea except taking stratagems out completely. Oh, really? This is the thing, right? This is the other thing as well. I have to be conscious of this. I have to be cognizant of this. 300 people in chat, right? You can guarantee that there is no way we would all agree on every change I want or every change. Like, there's no way we're all going to agree. And again, that's part of the thing I love about, like, one of the reasons why I enjoy Talking Heads content so much is because we're never going to agree. And as long as people are prepared to have the grown-up, mature, and adult conversation as to why we don't agree, like, cool, let's have that conversation. Like, I think it's a great part of the hobby that we can have that conversation with each other, that we can talk about the fact that I want stratagems to be removed and William doesn't want them to be removed. I think that's cool, right? But as long as it's a mature conversation, I say mature, I actually don't care about maturity. As long as it's not, like, offensive or abusive. I think that's probably the clear thing. I think the community's greatest failure when it comes to having expectations from a new edition is that they have expectations for the new edition. This is GW. We know this devil. I feel like if 40k was done more like every other game, it would be in a better position. So start pilot, probably. Alan Rayno, in with the 10 gifted. What a legend. For 2 reasons. First, because he's gifted 10. 2, because that means that so far tonight's total for gifted memberships is 69. What a hero. Thanks, Alan. Which means we are 31 away from the target. 31. Who wants to give the 31 for the studio? I'm so hopeful. I'm so hopeful. I can show you. Like, if you want to get excited, if getting you excited about the studio means you might donate some more memberships, I can show you what the studio will look like potentially. If you want to see it, I can show you the space that I found. Maturity is not the vibe here. Good. No, it's not the vibe here. Absolutely. So it says, Alan, you're a legend. Zenny, you're a bit of a legend yourself, to be fair. You are the auntie of the channel. Don't forget that. Obviously, some armies can't do that, like World Eaters or Harleys. I get that. Says Garsty. Well, yeah. Oh, my only personal request for the channel is don't worry about having competitive armies, but would love to see rule of 1 instead of rule of 3. Just to have more visual and interesting army battles. Okay, so Joe and I have lots of plans. We have lots of plans and only one Joe. So we are going to be continuing to add more and more units to all of the channels we currently have. However, the focus at the moment is we're trying to get a couple of AOS armies ready so that we can start doing some content. What I'd like to do is get some stuff ready so that if and when we get a studio, we can roll straight into making the content rather than have to get things ready for the content. And there's two things I would like to do. And Peter's asked the question as well. The first thing is I would like to start doing some AOS content. Now, this won't be replaced again. This won't be replacing the 40k content, right? So I am currently hard at work, genuinely hard at work, building AOS models. Okay, that's what I'm doing at the moment. And Joe is currently painting AOS models. Okay, once we've got them ready, and I think we're just going to do 2 armies, maybe 2 armies each, but we're just going to, and maybe 4 armies in total. So once we've got the armies ready and we can do some content, we can then add more armies in the future. But we can do some content. The other thing we would like to do is add some Horus Heresy stuff in the future as well. And I've got a ton of Horus Heresy stuff here because, and I want to do Sons of Horus, and I can't remember what Joe wants to do. But we'd like to add some Horus Heresy as well in the future. So Zena says, you want the tree people. My 2 armies that I'm building at the moment, Zena, is Sylvaneth and Nighthaunt. The reason why I picked Sylvaneth and Nighthaunt is because if you know me, you know what I'm like for painting. So considering Nighthaunt is a mostly airbrush, add some silvers and some blacks, and considering Tree People is browns and greens with dry brushes, I think I'm trying to pick the easiest ones out of the whole of the Age of Sigmar range for me to paint. Regardless of the state of the game, it has to enjoy your content. Thanks, man.
As for the channel, narrative games are incredible fun because balance doesn't matter.
The narrative game we did last week was lots of fun. Lots and lots of fun. I need to think about what we're going to do tomorrow evening because no Brom now means no chat plays. No chat plays makes me incredibly sad because we probably aren't going to get to do chat plays again this month. So, the narrative games on the channel have been great. It helps us remember to have fun in our hobbies. I have been having way more fun playing Nids into Night since my group agreed to go more narrative. I love narrative. Isn't that why most of us got into the game in the first place, though? Narratively, the rules still let us have loads of fun. Alan, you're a hero. Thank you for 10 more gifted memberships. You should stop now, Alan. You can't carry the channel all on your own. You can't. But thank you so much for 10 more gifted, Alan. You absolute fucking hero. I love you very dearly. What a hero. We're off the 69 now, chat. We are. Closing in. 21 to go for 100 of the night. Luce can't produce chat plays, though. So we can B-team it. I'm happy to B-team it. Right? And I think Luce has offered to B-team it, but not for chat plays. Not for chat plays. Because that's just... I think Luce does an amazing job when she produces, considering she doesn't really know what she's doing.
I've wanted to find a nice place to teach martial arts, but getting properties in the US is tough as well. Good luck, sir. I know you can make it. I'm sure everyone here wants you to succeed.
Amazing. Thank you, Evan. You're a legend. I found an interesting... we have found an interesting studio. Right, hang on. Let me get the link up for it. And I can probably show you guys this place. Is there a way I can zoom in on the photographs? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if you see the what's it called? I guess it doesn't matter if you see the location because it's irrelevant, right? Because it's not my office at the moment. So here's what I've found, right? I'm going to screen share it with you people now and show you. This is so when I talk about the fact that I'm trying to generate enough revenue. Joe, thank you so much for the gifted. I'm trying to generate enough revenue to take a studio. I'm being very serious about this. Okay, so this I'm just going to show you because you people have hung on until 10 minutes before the end of the show. We're now at 80 memberships, by the way, just 20 before we've hit the 100 that I would like every night. So because you've hung on, you people, I'm going to show you the studio that I'm trying to get my hands on, right? So it's the top floor of this building here. Okay, so inside there's a kitchenette and a toilet because Joe, right? That looks small, but that's the room I'm trying to get my hands on right now. Just so you guys are aware, This is the room I'm trying to get my hands on right now. That's another part of it. There it is. It's massive. So we can have multiple setups in this place. This is the intent. Look at that. Look how big that is. Multiple setups, multiple studios in this place is what I'm hoping for. Right? There's a video of it as well. We won't put the video on because it's not my content. But this is. All right, actually, can I? If I can mute it, will it full screen? No, it won't full screen. This is the studio that I'd like. It's massive. Think of what we can do in this space, chat. Ignore the camera work. It's not mine. Yeah, cool. That's the intent, right? That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to take on board. It's not as good as the first studio that I had on my eyes on, but you know, it's something from humble beginnings. Anyway, Joe, thank you for the gifted. You're an absolute legend. And then Zenna, oh my god, thank you for the 20. Just like Alan, thank you for the 20. You fucking hero. Thank you so much. And then Peter comes in and gives us another one as well. That puts us over the 100 target. You people are incredible. So now I have to go in here and change this one to... Oh, you beautiful human beings. Thank you. The Mauler, thank you for the 5. Spec Games nailed strats, in my opinion. In 80, you get a handful and that's it. In 30k, 6 core reactions and roughly 1 fantasy advanced reaction per legion. No BS. Agree. 100% agree. So we say that studio looks amazing. I have to add, right? It's not confirmed yet. So I've asked them to give me the business rates, the fucking service charge, all the extra hidden costs that come with commercial property here in the UK. And if they all come back as reasonable numbers, I will then go into a viewing at some point in the near future. And then if that's all good, I'll put an offer in. Now, what I will say, chat, is the only reason why a space like that is even remotely close to affordable for the channel is simply because office space in the UK has taken a bit of a nosedive in terms of asking price. Since COVID, when everyone could work from home, if I was looking at that same office space in 2019, there's no way I could afford, like, it just wouldn't be possible. It would be impossible, completely impossible. But because everyone from COVID-19 onwards has basically gone, well, hang on, we can work from home, and that means we don't have to pay for office costs. We'll just offload the office cost. So if I can get it cheap enough, which, again, because I have to be conscious of my ingoings and my incomings and my outgoings, getting it cheap enough means I probably have to put an offer in under the asking price. If I can get it cheap enough, that could be our studio, and then we need to furnish it. So what we might do, right? This isn't a definite, this isn't definitive. What we might do is we may end up doing a little crowdfunding type thing, just to furnish the studio, and maybe cover half the year's rent, which isn't a load, just to give me a little bit of a warm fuzzy feeling, so we can get in there and get settled, right? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. Are people not returning to offices in the UK? The estate agent has said that a lot of offices have not. A lot of offices have decided to let people, or have decided to keep people at home. All right. I like the stream. Stop yelling. I'm sorry. Imagine how fun the AOS stream with Kirati Wibby in there. The second we get a studio, this is the other thing as well. So I talk about this podcast, right? I want to do 2 things with the podcast. I want to have my own famous guests in, like Big Bad Kirioth. I think I saw him in the chat earlier. I want to get people like him in on the podcast because I think that'd be fun. But I also want to get members in on the podcast. I want to get you people in on the podcast. That'd be fucking cool. Get to learn a little bit about you people. Yes, crowdfund. Yes, let us help. I keep saying maybe and little because I'm very conscious of the optics of something like crowdfunding when you lot are already gifting memberships and super chatting and supporting us and being a member. The best way to fund us and the best way to support us, genuinely, is to be a member all by yourself. Absolutely. Because 30%, 40% of our members are people, I think 30% of our members are people that choose to be a member, who've paid for a membership and keep their membership ticking over every single month at Skull tier or above. Like, we've got incredible amounts of aces and thanes unbelievable amounts of aces and things, which I never thought would ever happen, right? But most of our memberships are actually from gifts, which again, I'm so humbled and blown away by. You people are incredible. But then we're relying on people that are already members then gifting more members, okay? So I hate the way crowdfunding feels. I don't like it. And I've actually talked to the Thanes about it a few times and said to the Thanes in the WhatsApp chat, I don't know. And they're all like, do it. I get it. And now I'm still going, I don't know if I should. I'm not sure if I should. Michael, thank you for the 5. 2-gay game, 2 players each army. One person controls the move and charge phase. The other controls the shooting and fight phase. Both can't be in the room. That's amazing. Again, this is more shit that we can do in that studio. We could have loads of fun in there because we'd have the space to have multiple players around a table. We can invite other channels over and do 2v2s, like grudge matches.
8th edition was a reset, too, but GW sold books, Psychic Awakening, to support armies without a codex. Do you think GW will do the same for 10th, or leave current index armies high and dry for 1+ years?
History Shmistry, I can't really speak. History Shmistry, thank you so much for the 10. I think, I don't want this to be negative. I don't want this to come across as negative. I think that one of the reasons why they've done the indexes the way they've done the indexes with the detachment, the stratagems, the enhancements, is so they don't have to release extra books for extra rules. I think they got a lot of negativity in 8th and 9th edition for selling supplements with rules for specific armies that weren't just inside codexes. Honestly, I don't think they'll sell additional rules in anything other than a codex unless it's a narrative-based supplement that isn't for things like tournament play. My gut tells me no, they won't release the extra rules. It's questionable whether I think that's leaving high and dry or whether I think that's positive. Right? I don't know. Adrian, thank you for the 10. Tickets for soft opening and auctioning something. Joe's toenails. I think if we go crowdfund or GoFundMe, I probably would want to do things for people. I think maybe if we have a soft opening, we invite Thanes, maybe?
Alexa set alarm for 4 a.m. reminder to feed the kids.
No, man. Although, tonight is one of those nights where I forgot to press the little button on top of her, which stops her from listening to you, because I did that for a few weeks in a row when you lot kept trying to get her to do things. Chris Sanford, you've become a legend. You've joined the channel as a Jarl tier member. If you have been gifted a membership tonight, because 40k Medic just came, I just noticed he came in and dropped another 20. Oh my God. What are you doing to me, people? Thank you so much, 40k Medic, you absolute hero of the chat. I love you. You and Zena. Oh, the uncle and auntie of the channel. What amazing human beings. If you got gifted a membership, if you are a Scald tier member, if you upgrade to Jarl, okay, listen, hear me out, chat. All of you people in chat who are gifted, hear me out. If you upgrade to Jarl, it costs you £4, so it costs you less than it would have been to take a membership in the first place. It does mean when it auto-renews, it will auto-renew at 9. We'll be honest though, we'll be straight up about that. And every single month we do a giveaway, and we give away a single combat patrol box to one of the Jarls, chosen at random in the giveaway section in the Discord. Okay? You can be with a chance of winning that by being a Jarl, and if you're a Jarl, it's then just a free click a box in Discord entry. So maybe if you've been gifted a membership, you can exclamation mark Discord, get yourself in the Great Hall, upgrade.
Remember, 40k is a garage game that is being played competitively. Play and balance should be reminded of this. Your channel maturity and humor is great for me as a vet. Thanks for your support.
Oh, B-List2, thank you so much for your... What a kind comment that is. Channel maturity and humor is great. I love the fact that maturity is in quotation marks, by the way. We can be grown up when we need to be. You know, we support Models for Heroes. We support mental health. We do all that kind of stuff. We're actually quite serious about mental health. We don't just, you know, use it to push streams and videos and stuff. So I think we have the right level of maturity there, whilst also remembering where 40k comes from. Like, I have absolutely nothing against people that like to play it competitively or want to treat it as a competitive game. I don't have anything against that at all. They're welcome to do that. They're welcome to try and do that. I have no issues. But for me personally, I started playing I started playing 40k when I was a kid, and for me, when I was starting playing 40k, I started to play 40k because of the mentalness of the narrative and the lore and the crazy narrative scenarios we would make up as kids. Kids' imagination is amazing, right? You can make up something out of nothing. Kids' imagination is wild. And I think what I'm going to try and do with the channel a little bit, not every single stream, but a little bit, is try and bring some of that child-based imagination to the tabletop for your entertainment, right? And make the tabletop be a narrative, not necessarily immersive experience, but where we're telling a story on the tabletop, because that gives us a reason to play and to have fun and enjoy ourselves, and it gives us really it gives us investment into what we're doing on the tabletop, if that makes sense. And even when we move into the studio, if we move into a studio, and one of my goals for this year, were to try and hit 25k subs with 250 away. We should make that goal, and was to try and get into a studio of some sort. If we can get into that studio, we won't be in a garage anymore, but please fear not, the feel of the hobby that we do, the feel of the game that we play will not change. It will still feel like Garage Hammer. It will still feel like mates hanging out, having fun, enjoying each other's company. It might be slightly more polished, it might be slightly better produced, but the individuals playing will not change. They won't suddenly turn into these production robots who have scripted intros. It's just not going to happen for us. One of my favourite things lately, I don't know if you guys have noticed over the last couple of weeks, but one of my favourite things lately on the game streams is just hitting the go live button whilst they're mid-conversation. I love doing that, by the way. That's one of my favourites. Ty Strayer, thank you so much for becoming a Jarl tier member. What a hero. And then Tyler, thank you for gifting a membership. What a legend. That is incredible generosity. That aside, I probably should go. Because the problem I do have sometimes when I'm talking to you and Luce isn't here to look at me at exactly the end of the stream is I will get carried away and I'll keep talking to you for another half an hour. But I actually am quite tired. I'm sure you probably all know by now that I'm still continuously suffering from this fucking long COVID nonsense. Today, however, chat, got myself out this morning for a 30-minute walk in the fresh air with the dog. I've been drinking my water. It looks like squash because it is, but drinking my water instead of drinking caffeine. We're trying to get ourselves fit and healthy again. I say fit and healthy. I say fit. Trying to be less shitty is kind of where I'm going with it, right? Less junk food, less caffeine, less sitting indoors. I want to get up tomorrow and do a similar walk in the morning and freshen myself up before I start working tomorrow. So we're going to say goodnight to you beautiful people. Okay? I think what we're going to do tomorrow night now, I need to speak to Joe, but I think what we're going to do tomorrow night now is I think we're going to ask Luce if she will come in as B team but not chat plays it, because I don't think it's fair to ask Luce to what's the word, produce a chat plays, because she, bless her, barely knows what's going on when she's producing a normal game, and but she steps in so you guys still get a game of 40k. Okay. So I think Joe and I will talk about what we're going to do tomorrow, play a game between us so you've still got some content and still got some entertainment for tomorrow evening, and then we'll get ready for Friday's 40k after dark where we can all drink mead and get happy, right? What's the best way to join a 40k club? Google was rubbish. Facebook, I find, is pretty good. Okay. The other thing you can do, this is a sales pitch, Jess. Where are you? Where are you based, Jess? Tell me where you're based. Get that PT scrub. Fuck you. Thanks for not my moan. No, you always moan. That's fine. That's the one way. I didn't mean that way I worded that. No, you don't always moan. You're always welcome to moan, is what. There. That's what. Jess, tell me where you live. All right. This is going to sound like a plug right now, but we've got like looking for game sections in Discord, and we've had people in Discord who have now become very close friends who talk to each other every single day who met through Discord. So Discord servers can be a great way. Kent near Medway Maidstone. So UK based. If you're prepared to spend any money whatsoever, we would obviously love you to join at Scald tier or above. But what you can do is you can just become a Hasir and test the Discord out. It's $1.99, right? $1.99. You then come in Discord, exclamation mark Discord once you've done that. Link your YouTube account to your Discord account. It unlocks the whole of Discord. And then there's looking for game sections. But we're obviously being a predominantly UK-based channel. The majority of our audience is in fact UK-based. And loads of people will have loads of suggestions for you. Otherwise, if you really don't want to pay any money and you really don't want to join Discord, keep jumping in on the chats and asking those questions in chats. And people like Lehman Russ, who's already said in the chat, Ragnarok Hobbies is in Kent nearby you. People will try and help you as well. Narrative game. We could do a narrative game tomorrow. Yeah, we could do that. Not a problem. Ian, thank you for the last minute 5. Why do people have to either like narrative or tournament play? Why can't people like both? Enjoy all factors of the hobby. I like both, personally. You're right. 100% people can. I like both. I love both. I think Caleb Crushing says bye. Cushion. I fucking can't speak now. This is what I'm saying. This is where the long COVID kicks in and I get exhausted. Can you see my eyes? Can you see how tired my eyes look now? I never used to look like this. I used to look young and sprightly. That was me.
Set up a poll in Discord for us to pick your army or decide your warlord.
We could do something like that. 100%. But what we'll do is I'll talk to Joe first, Mandy, to make sure he's happy, okay? And I need to talk to Luce first to make sure she's happy too. If Luce is happy to produce and Joe's happy to play a game tomorrow, we'll go. And to be clear, chat, if Luce isn't happy to produce or Joe isn't happy to come and play a game, because I think he was supposed to be producing tomorrow, there will still be a stream. There will still be a stream, I promise you. Adrian, thank you. Can you stop it? I need to go. Pack it in. Is your dear wife around tonight? She's next door. Wednesdays, where we talk very seriously about 40k and we don't just chat bollocks like we do on Fridays, she sits next door and watches telly because it's one of the only occasions she gets in the week to just chill out. Wednesdays, actually, is Luce his one day off a week where I'm like, I'll have the kids. I'll look after the kids all day. Don't you worry about the kids. That's it. So she goes shopping and stuff like that. And so it's actually nice that she can finish it off with an evening in front of the telly watching her own programs as well. Anyway, thank you so much, you beautiful people. Thank you for all the gifted memberships. You are incredible. Incredible people. 124 new members tonight. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Thank you for all your super chats. Thank you for all your suggestions about the things you change. What's been quite nice is, on the whole, it seems like a lot of people kind of agree with what some of the changes should be and what some of the things they'd like to see is. Now, what makes me hopeful there is that GW will then be getting a similar kind of echo chambery kind of feedback, right? Which will mean that they should potentially look at some of the issues that we're seeing, see those same issues and potentially fix them in the future. Who knows? Okay. We're going to end the poll right now and say thank you to Adrian for another gifted membership because he's trying to snipe Just. And it's interesting. That was a lot more balanced than I thought that poll would be. So on the question of did we have unreasonable, or did I have, I should say, unreasonable expectations for 10th edition, 53% said no. 46% said yes. And 1% was disappeared into the ether. Interesting. Anyway, you're all amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I love you all very, very dearly. We'll definitely see you tomorrow night for a stream. It might just be me. It might be a game. Who knows? That's it from us. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you. Mandy. Zena. No. Just got gifted a membership though. So there you go. That's enough now. Thank you for the gifteds. Stop it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Stop it, Mandy. Stop it. Thank you for the gifted. Stop it. Mandy, stop it. Stop it, Mandy. Thank you for the gifted. You know I have to say thank you. Stop it. And you, Soups. Soup, stop it. Thank you for the gifted. Stop it. Tyler, you should know better. You should know better. Thank you for the gifted. But you should know better. Thank you. Stop it. What do you think you're doing to me? Zena, thank you. Drop Dead Dave, thank you. It's enough now, though, alright? 1, far too generous. 2, I'm trying to go to bed. Okay? How close are we to beating Eddie's record? You're miles off, Mandy. Miles off, like 200 off. Okay? I need 4 of you to drop 50, then we'll beat Eddie's record. Alright? This is enough now. Okay? The other thing is, what... Machine Oblivion, thank you for the gifted. Firstly, right, is I have to sit here and wait for all the ticker tape to scroll through so I can actually hit the end stream button. And secondly, there's a delay, so I can't, you know me, I can't not say thank you because it's just the right thing to do. The Mauler, welcome to the channel as a Jarl tier. They're amazing people. Pack it in now, though. All right, it's enough. Okay, Liam, good a bit. I'm trying. You fuckers are stopping me right now. Okay. Liam has a pretty good ASMR voice. I have a lovely voice. I don't have a nice voice. I have a shit voice. Do you ever listen to yourself? Do you ever listen to yourself chat? Do you ever listen to yourself on like a answer me message or a phone call and think, what? What? That's not how I sound. I sound awful. I do. I used to do that loads. When I first started streaming and filming content and I had to edit it, I hated editing it. I really hated editing it. I hated the way I sound. Honestly, it was disgusting. And over time, I finally kind of got used to listening to myself from editing and stuff, and now it's not too bad. But I was so cringe to start with. Starius, thank you for gifting 5, man. You're an absolute hero. I now need to add 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think, to that. 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 3. This is the other thing as well, right? Because the other reason why I have to watch chats because I have to make sure this tracker is updated. We all hate our own voice. It's weird. I've got used to mine now, only because of streaming, only because of content. Because when I make shorts and stuff like that, when I make pre-recorded and all that kind of stuff, I have these on. So these are live monitoring headphones. If I put these on right now, I can hear my own voice from my headphones. So now I can literally hear myself live. Okay, so these are live monitorers. They're literally plugged into my audio deck. And so I've kind of got used to my voice now. And, you know, people have often said I have a voice that is probably fine for radio, but they've also said the face is probably the same. Right? I think that's a compliment. He's also got a face for radio. I think that's a compliment. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.